Welcome to the Table Rush Talk Show. On this episode, I'm going to talk about my experience at this mastermind where I was just cratered emotionally yesterday, and the process I used to reground, recenter, and then have massive inspiration today. I had a major breakthrough, I guess, talking to a category king, one of Russell Brunson's higher level coaching groups, one of his participants. But I can't wait to talk about that. So that's what's going on this episode. Listen up.
You know when someone is selling from stage and at the end the audience gets up and rushes to the back of the room to buy? That's a table rush. My name is Mischa Z, and the Table Rush Talk Show is all about bringing you the tools, strategies, and tactics that you can use to grow your audience and inspire them to buy.
So I am sitting on the deck of my beautiful hotel room at the Xcaret Hotel in Cancun, Mexico, which is the actual hotel is between Cancun and Playa del Carmen, I believe. But I'm at the Mastermind In Paradise. I love networking events. This is Russell Brunson's one of his networking events where his 2 Comma Club X people gather. That's the $25,000 or $30,000 a year cost. I believe then he's got his inner circle, which is either 50,000 or 100,000 a year participants, and then his category kings, which might be $250,000 or 100,000, and then he's got Atlas, which it might be the quarter, $250,000 or something like that. But a good chunk of Russell's coaching clients are here, and it's just brainstorming and a tsunami of creativity, as I like to say, and the emotional ups and downs of events like this, and the presentations, the teaching. So there's great presentations. Pedro Adeo gave an awesome presentation. Richmond Din, if anybody's heard of him. Who else? Some not so known, some very well known people, but everybody who's got great success stories and how they're using tools, what tools they're using, how to apply them, how we can use them. But I'll probably have a few episodes about this, but this one story right here, for me, was about, I went into massive insecurity yesterday. I was able to break through that and get clarity on direction and how I want to talk about what I do. So yesterday I had a fairly good day of networking and inspiration, but a few things happened towards the end of the day where I kind of latched on to, I'm so far behind, I'll never catch up, I'm failing. My brain just started going there. I made a couple bad choices, or I should have said this or shouldn't have said that, or overcommitted. That was a bunch of it. I'd overcommitted to a couple of meetings, but I just at 10 o'clock, I think it was 9:30 or 10 o'clock, I holed up in my hotel room and started watching cable TV. Like, I haven't watched cable TV forever, like channel surfing through cable TV, and this is old school too, where the channel takes like 5 seconds to load. So it's not like efficient channel surfing, it's painful channel surfing. But I thought, you know what, here's my process, which hopefully you can find useful, because there's some valuable tools. And one at this point was like, acknowledge the fact that I'm feeling this way and that that's okay, and that this too shall pass, and try and, instead of beat myself up about feeling that way, literally, I don't know, you could say, love the fact that I was feeling that way. It was just like, you know what, I'm emotionally beat down, I'm having these thoughts and emotions, the thoughts of I'm failing, I'll never have success, let's say, or these ideas of success that I think I have to have. What other thoughts? There's just those kinds of thoughts cycling through, and yeah, I was feeling it, man. I was feeling it. And so acknowledge it, breathe through it, accept it, and, I start saying a little prayers of, God, how can I be of service? What can I bring to the table? Like, God, give me the right thought or action. I'm no longer running the show. How can I be of service? And really, it was just like, tomorrow's going to be a new day. Reset, restart tomorrow, and trust the process. So I woke up, that's this morning, I woke up and was still a little shook up. And one of the reasons was I had committed to helping somebody. I was going to, get some testimonials from a little mastermind event a side event that was happening here. And I canceled a dinner to make that happen. And then circumstances started happening. And I was like, this is not the right thing for me to do. This doesn't feel right, me. Doing this event, this side event. And so I can beat myself up sometimes if I have to cancel something, because I pride myself on showing up, on living by my calendar, on being accountable. And so I was also feeling guilty that I had canceled a dinner with some friends that I have here at the 2CCX and my son, and my son was going to the dinner with us too, and so I was very conflicted. So I was like, praying to my God for relief from that, for some insights, and trusting that it's going to work out okay. And so anyway, that's the mental space I was in, trying to give you as much color as possible. A little woundy still. They say speak to the scar and not the wound, but I think I'm in the scar space. So I woke up feeling a little shook still, and I was like, I started my prayers, God, how can I be of service? What can I bring to the table? Like, how can I be of service? How can I set aside my financial fears, my selfishness, what I should be doing, what I want to be doing, ego-wise, self-centered wise, and that can be sneaky. And I was like, God, just let me be a channel. And then I read some supporting literature, spiritual literature, and one of the messages of coincidentally was, hey, when we can get in a place of complete trust, we can let go of the need for financial success, the need for these types of things. Doesn't mean we won't get that or I won't get that, but I can let go of that and know that I'll be okay without it, and that is not the end goal. The end goal is truly to be of service. Truly to be of service, in my humble opinion. To be of service. So I really prayed and meditated on that for a few moments this morning, and it's like, okay, I'm going to strike out on the day and go be of service and see what happens. So I went to breakfast and I saw a gentleman sitting alone, and I said, hey, can I sit here? He said, sure. And perhaps it was someone I usually might not pick to sit with. Sometimes I do that too. I'm like, is that safe to sit there? And if the answer is no, I'm thinking fear. Otherwise, I'm like, that means I need to sit there. So I did that. Sometimes you need to trust, like, yes, danger. This was not a danger thing. This was like insecurity on my end thing. So I sat down, and fast forward, this guy is very high up in the coaching program. So he's very, very smart, very successful in what he does. And we were having a great conversation. before I found that information, and we were really like just learning from each other and sharing great stories. And then I was like, "Oh, well, what do you do?" And he told me. And his name, by the way, is hold on one second. His name is Josh Lyons, and I tried to find him. He's a little more covert in what he does. He's not out there as a social influencer. That's not how he builds his business. He's very extremely successful with what he does, but he's just not as, uh, out there, influencer land. So anyway, we were chatting about what I do, and he's totally inspired me to get into speed reading. Like, we need to get into speed reading. Buy Speed Reading for Dummies, and you will not only increase your retention, but you'll increase your ability to read dramatically. So, and it increases your retention, which is awesome. And anyway, so we talked about that, talked about some other stuff, but I am all about, one of my favorite things to do are my strategic event interviews. And I was telling him, I'm kind of in the beginning of this process. I do these strategic event interviews. I just got confirmation from somebody that, like, I drove $70,000 of revenue for them. And he goes, but it's not. I said, but it's not a testimonial. Like, this isn't a traditional testimonial. It's all about the customer and their story and what they do and how they help their clients. It's not about my client, it's about my client's client, right? Does that make sense at an event? So I'm getting, in effect, their origin story, if you're familiar with that term. And at the same time, I'm reading Cialdini, and Mr. Lyons was very well versed on Cialdini too, so we were having fun riffing on Cialdini. But where am I going with this? I said, hey, I'm having a hard time trying to work out how to talk about this to the market, right? Because it's not a testimonial. Testimonials are a byproduct. You can get a testimonial. A piece of the strategic interview can be a testimonial, so you get that testimonial byproduct. But what the strategic customer interview does is it creates all this goodwill. It creates the reciprocity effect. It's such an act of generosity by the event host to do this interview with their customer that it encourages them to buy the high ticket item, to renew the high ticket item. Thank you for listening to this. This episode's getting close to 15 minutes. I'll try and cut to the chase. But in effect, he's like, hey, this is how you frame it as the new opportunity. And so the old opportunity is the events held and the big pitch happens at the end. The new opportunity is the strategic event interview. And the old opportunity is you spend all this money to get people to your event, and then you give the big pitch, and then you might recoup your costs. He said there's a term I need to learn that event hosts are trying to recoup their costs, or there's a term. But he said, due to the pitch, people are perhaps hesitant to come back to the next one next year. And so he says this new opportunity is, hey, you can do these events more often. You don't have to pitch to bring in your sales. You can use the strategic event interview, and then you can host your events more often because people will want to come back, and so you can spend less money on trying to get new people to come. It's more profitable, all these great things. And I was like, oh my gosh, like old opportunity, new opportunity, hit me square in the eyes. And he said a bunch of other stuff. Wished I'd had it recorded with him. but how to pull hooks out of that, how to just be more efficient in talking about it. And what was the last thing I was going to say in that regard? The last thing was going to say in that regard is this: is I love that framing of it. I love the old opportunity of the traditional pitch at the event versus the new opportunity is the strategic event interview to do your selling for you. And then imagine combining the strategic event interview with the classic pitch at the end. Now you've just injected steroids into your sales. So I could go on and on. I'm at 15 minutes. I will save more for next episodes. As usual, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Table Rush Talk Show. For resources to help you sell your stuff, go to belove.media/resources. That's belove.media/resources. And be sure to subscribe, comment, 5-star, and share. Thank you again for listening.